YNW Melly back in court today. His attorney saying the state has not given enough evidence to this point to keep him in jail, but prosecutors say they have proven plenty that shows he needs to remain behind bars.
Oh, please don't you cry, I'm sorry, I just call, sometime I'll be home soon.
Something very serious is going on with YNW Melly right now, from food that's not edible in jail, a freezing cold jail cell, and even no human contact. His spirits of beating the case is slowly fading away. It would be reported an interview from YNW Melly's mother paints a disturbing picture of YNW Melly's life inside a jail, making it sound like he's not gonna last much longer. As Jamie King would reveal that she is heartbroken for her son. She feels helpless because he's not even being treated as a human inside a jail.
When you saw Melly's statement just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
As she would begin ranting over the fact that YNW Melly received a mistrial in the first trial. He essentially beat the case, but he was still denied any sort of chance at a bond release or even house arrest. A US study shows that there is an 82% likelihood of receiving a bond or house arrest agreement after getting a mistrial in a trial. Melly was rejected on the spot, as he's not even allowed to use a phone or even look at his own mail inside a jail.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
As YNW Melly was moved into a new county jail for his upcoming retrial in September, the new lead prosecutor this week would end up submitting his evidence files against YNW Melly to the new judge. This is very bad, as he has to submit all the evidence he'll use against Melly, so then Melly's lawyers can create a defense against it for the upcoming trial. He's gonna make it real simple for the jury to understand that Melly committed the crime. He started out with simple evidence found on Melly's cell phone, where he even sent text messages hours after committing the crime, admitting to it.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time, the YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
But also found on YNW Melly's cell phone was a saved video from someone's Facebook Live. It ends up showing YNW Melly and Bortland in a parking lot only 6 hours after the crime was done, showing that they don't have an ounce of sadness for their two lost friends.
You see him? Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! No, still turned. Regardless of what happened, you already know.
As YNW Melly's even wearing the exact same clothes that surveillance cameras caught him wearing earlier in the night. Now knowing how YNW Melly handled it emotionally, the lead prosecutor is then going to dive deep into what Melly's motive would have been to commit the crime. This is what's truly affecting Melly in jail, as the only reason Melly was given a mistrial was because the prosecutors didn't emphasize to the jury what YNW Melly's motive was to commit the crime against his two best friends. However, the new lead prosecutor just found the reason. YNW Melly was extremely close friends with King Von, leading to his arrest and sadly King Von passing. Melly ended up telling King Von and asking for advice on how to handle a situation where your two best friends are coming at you financially and they want a lot of money, as a rogue O-Block member shared a secret that Melly told Von.
Did Von really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument
And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Vaughn was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walk the bam. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?
As the team YNW isn't only a street team, but it's also a music collective. It's even registered as an LLC. What this means is any music that Melly and YNW Portland made off of doing shows, any music streams, merch deals, anything like that would all be funneled into one bank account. As allegedly, Sack Chaser and Juvie, they weren't doing much. They didn't make music or any performing shows, but they still wanted a huge cut of all the money that's in the LLC. But Melly was not having it. This was the missing piece of evidence the prosecutors were missing during the original trial, which is what was the motive. As this would then lead into the reason Melly was never given house arrest or a bond agreement, as the investigation through the physical evidence of the crime paints a very disturbing photo. As Sergeant Williams would end up revealing after a thorough investigation of the Jeep they were driving in, there is no way this could have been a drive-by, and whoever committed the crime had to have been sitting in the back left seat.
Assignment, which is to determine if this is a drive. And my determination was that this is not a drive-by, and it's based upon this picture here, which is a very good picture to describe it. All of these rounds are done. One is done at a stationary position. At a stationary position when all but one of these rounds are going in. The one round that has some movement in it, which is round site L here, the actually moving in that to create the little bit of a that you see there.
Okay, a lot of information in that answer, so let's break it down a little bit. You mentioned so I'm gonna zoom in on site F. Number, you said 17 outside the car. How many rounds were inside the car?
3.
And can you exclude the for Mr. Williams and Mr. Thomas as coming from outside of the car?
Yes. From the driver's side back seat.
As to the shot that Christopher Thomas, where did that come from?
Driver's side back seat.
Oh. Is it possible for there to have been 2 inside that car?
No.
Why not?
There is no time.
As with Williams revealing the crime must have happened inside of the car, YNW Juvie's mother would go to the stand and share who was sitting in that back left seat, as she has known YNW Melly since he was born.
And are you related to one of the kids in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep? Mm-hmm. And is that a yes?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right-hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Jamel.
And Jamel, is that the defendant, Jamel Demons?
Yes, ma'am.
As while the prosecutor was working on building the case to prove Melly's guilt, Melly's lawyer, on the other hand, was working on getting him released on a bond, as the YNW Melly trial has now been rescheduled until September 2025. We would see his mother, Jamie King, give an update outside of the courthouse.
Free Melly till he's free. He's coming home, guys. Just patience. So we did have court today, him and Bort. They both had court. And so basically, the judge put a new trial date in for September 10th of 2025. Please make it make sense. I don't know. I don't know. At this point, they need to just dismiss the case. So, and yeah, he still doesn't have phone calls Still no visitation. He's still in the new facility all alone by himself, no contact. He's not allowed to have contact with any other inmates. They move him around with several guards. It's like something you never...
As with the trial being so far away, lawyers online commented believing that Melly's lawyers will be pushing for a bond or house arrest from the new judge. As it would be announced, Judge Murphy has effectively retired on August 1st. Judge Martin will now oversee the Melly retrial. As with now new lawyers, prosecutors, and a new judge in the case, it is all delayed until next September. Melly was even seen entering the courtroom when his judge would ask for his release.
This is on State of Florida versus Jamel Demons. Present is Mr. Demons. Mr. Demons, can you hear us?
As it would then be reported shortly after, new judge hears YNW Melly's lawyers out on a bond release. With many moving pieces for the retrial, another delay is likely. Expect the rapper released soon. The prosecutors would want to put an end to this as soon as possible, as this is where the courtroom got scary. The new lead prosecutor would go on to mention to the newest judge in the case, the Florida Police Department arrested Melly in Portland on February 13th, 2019 for this crime against Sack Chaser and Juvie. Portland was only in jail for roughly 3 days before being bonded out. Meanwhile, Melly has sat in his jail cell for the last 5 to 6 years with no chance of any release. He was even granted a mistrial in the case on July 2023, but he still had to sit inside a jail, where he would then tell the judge there's a reason for this, and it all dates back to the day of the crime, where YNW Portland would be interrogated by an arresting officer, where even the arresting officer knew what happened right away.
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me, you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here from when you guys open the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
As ever since the interrogation, Melly's been the main suspect, as even the officer said that he believes he knows what happened, but he's just not legally allowed to say right now, as it was always this interrogation that always comes up against YNW Melly. We even caught a glimpse of how scared Melly's mother is for him when during the original Melly trial, when he was granted the mistrial, his lawyers requested Melly to receive a bond out of jail or even house arrest moments later. But again, the prosecutors brought up the interrogation, leading into the judge denying it instantly, telling Melly that he must return to jail. This even led into Melly asking his mother if she's okay, as she would break down into tears.
Sorry.
You'll just
This was an extremely sad moment of the YNW Melly trial. Rap OG Boosie would even speak on the stress that his mother's been going through.
Okay, so
then I met his mama while he was in.
Oh, okay.
I met his mom while he was in, and she real, bro. You know, she real.
She's stressed out. I heard she had a.
Yeah, she real, and I reached my hand out to him, cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman, bro. And when I see them mamas like that, it remind me of what my mom was going through, bro.
As for the final nail in YNW Melly's life, he was just hit with new charges alongside YNW Portland, basically ensuring that he will never be in the free world again unless he wins this upcoming retrial.
The state filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation, or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction. YNW Melly, his real name is Jamel Demons. He's actually in plain clothes in the courtroom for the first time in months, again, as this judge really starts the long process of seating a new juror.
As this ends up stemming from one of the interviews from YNW Juvie's father, where he would end up exposing how YNW Melly and Bortlen were witness tampering, and even what code words they used to make Melly's ex-girlfriend not testify against him in the original trial. Because there was theories that when the crime was committed, YNW Melly called his girlfriend to come pick him up, but sadly she couldn't. However, on the phone call, Melly may have confessed something.
Both Melly, Jamel Demons, YNW Melly, and Cortland Henry, who is known as YNW Bortlen, are now charged with witness tampering. It sounds like the prosecutors are saying there was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person, and then that person.
Saying like to me, they going through extreme measures to try to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom. And
as then on top of this, we also had YNW Bortlen arrested recently for witness tampering. While he was outside, his house was raided by the feds, and he had some of the craziest paperwork written in a suitcase that the feds ended up finding after raiding his home.
Melly's co-defendant YNW Bortlen was booked into a Miami jail Monday night and is being held behind bars on an out-of-county warrant. We just confirmed the warrant is out of Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant obtained by Law and Crime Network states as follows. On or about April 10, 2023, continuing through and including July 22, 2023, Cortland Henry, aka Bortlen, along with others, did unlawfully and knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward another person with the intent to cause or induce them to withhold testimony. The warrant continues the alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamel Demons, aka YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Bortlen allegedly tampered with a witness.
As it would then be announced, here are the images of alleged notes discovered during the home raid of YNW Bortlen's home last week, as filed into the Broward clerks by the state. Alongside these photos here, of Bortlen drawing out on a piece of paper where certain jurors were sitting in the original Melly trial, and even a description of what they looked like. As Bortlen showed up to the Melly trial for one day, he ended up taking a mental note of where all the jurors were sitting and even what they looked like, which you are not allowed to do. He then drew it out on a piece of paper, which is extremely serious. The feds are making the case that if Melly was sentenced to life in prison, who's to say that Bortlen wouldn't have gave that piece of paper to somebody very scary and had a lot of these jurors dealt with as revenge for putting away YNW Melly for life. Even DJ Academics would say,
to keep it real, this is sloppy. Bortlen, how the f you gonna have the notebook of the jurors in your house? Like, god damn. Holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, brother, like, come the f on. It's like doing a and having the surveillance tape in your DVD player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. They be like, oh, okay, thank you, brother. This can't be at your crib.